We use a scatter graph to compare two sets of data. For example, on this scatter graph here, we are comparing people's shoe size to their test scores to see if the bigger someone's foot, the better they score, or if there's any relationship between the two sets of data. The points on a scatter graph aren't always scattered. If the points form some sort of straight line, then the scatter graph shows correlation. The better the straight line, the stronger the correlation. So for example, if we look at this one, the points really are scattered, so we say this has no correlation. If we look at these two, they both have negative correlation because the line they form is leaning backwards. However, this one has strong correlation because they're tighter together. They make a smaller line. Whereas this one has weak correlation because although they form a line, it's much wider. And the same with these two examples here. These two are both positive correlation because they form a line leaning forwards. However, this one is weak because they're quite spaced out. Some examples are shown below. So for example, the two sets of data here are the age of a car and the cost of a car. So as a car gets older, does the cost increase or decrease? This would probably show us a strong negative correlation because normally as a car gets older, the cost of the car goes down. The second example shows us maths results and Spanish results. What sort of correlation would this show? Well, it would probably show no correlation, as some people might be good at maths but rubbish at Spanish, some people might be great at Spanish but rubbish at maths, some people might be rubbish at both, and some people might be great at both. The last example is height versus, this should be, shoe size. Now normally taller people do have bigger feet, so normally as the height increases the shoe size would increase as well, but this is likely to be weak positive correlation as there will be some people that are taller with smaller feet or shorter with bigger feet. We need to be able to draw lines of best fit on scatter graphs. The rules are straight line as close as possible to all of the points. So where possible, it will go through points with about the same number of points above and below the line. The point of the line of best fit is that we use it to predict values, and we'll talk about that in a minute. It does not need to go through 0, 0. So the line of best fit does not need to start at 0, 0 and go through the whole graph. It does need to be drawn with a ruler, and you might have isolated points that are miles away. So for example, if we look at this weak negative, we could end up with a point over here that we would just ignore, or one over here that we would just ignore. They're isolated or freak incidents. In this example, it's a scatter diagram showing strong positive correlation between the marks in French and the marks in German. The line of best fit has already been drawn for you, showing that it's a strong positive correlation. It says Pete scored 70 in French. So using the line of best fit, can we estimate his mark in German would have been 72? To do this, we look along the French axis and we find where it says 70. We would then, with a ruler, draw a line up to our line of best fit. Then, again, you'd be doing this using a ruler, draw it going across, and we can see, we can estimate his German mark would have been 72. This is the working out we would have done. For each of the following questions, pause the video and have a go at drawing out the scatter graph using squared paper. Once you've drawn out the scatter graph, make sure you have labelled the axes correctly. Make sure you draw in your line of best fit and then work out which of the following best describes the correlation. Once you have completed it, show it to a teacher to get it checked, then press play and move on to the next example. Now have a go at this example. Now have a go at this example. And finally, have a go at this example. Using the app Puffin Academy, you can now either log into My Maths on the iPad and complete the scatter graph questions and the line of best fit activities, or you can grab a textbook and complete some of the activities from the textbook, or use one of the handouts to practice.